What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jay. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. Today we have Dina. She's an intake care manager. So let's sit down with her and see what she's got for us. What's going on, guys? Please join me in welcoming Dina here. Dina, how you doing?
I'm great, and yourself?
I'm good. Well, first and most importantly, congratulations on Nathan.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So why don't we start with your background? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? Things of that nature.
Okay. I'm originally from Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. I moved to Philadelphia when I was about a year or 2 years old, but I've always went back and forth between Philadelphia and Conshohocken.
Okay.
Background, school-wise, I went to multiple schools in Philadelphia.
Was there a reason you moved back and forth a lot?
Well, my parents separated.
Okay.
So I was back and forth between Conshohocken, Philadelphia, just visiting family.
Gotcha. Now, where in Philadelphia were you primarily in?
Primarily, moved around a lot.
Okay.
I would probably say Kensington.
Okay.
That's just mostly where I grew up at.
Gotcha. Cool. So in terms of your education, did you go to high school, college, anything like that?
I went to high school. I went to George Washington for 3 years. I went to Kensington for a year.
Okay.
I had to leave high school due to family reasons, but then when I was in my late 30s, I went back and got my high school diploma.
Gotcha. How was that experience?
It was actually really good. Going back to school, I had a lot of support from my husband, my stepchildren, and I just had that goal. I couldn't tell my stepchildren to graduate high school if I didn't.
Right.
So I wanted to lead by example. And the job I had at the time wasn't panning out. It wasn't allowing me to move up without that diploma.
Gotcha. So in terms of, there's a lot of people in your shoes, what would you... I would expect, is there any advice you would give them for going back to school?
Just don't give up. Keep pushing. Lean on those that are a good support system, and just keep fighting. It's worth it. It doesn't matter if you're 30, you're 40, you're 50. Just go for it. Get that high school diploma. If you can, continue education, because education is very important.
Makes sense. So why don't we talk about your job a little bit? So I'm sure you have held multiple jobs. Why don't we talk about a couple of things that you think really helped you to where you are today?
Job-wise, I've always been a hard worker. I always wanted to learn and get my hands in everything. Like, former job, I wanted to work in multiple departments. I just always had that I need to learn, and that's what I do now with my current career. I wanted to learn, I wanted to get my hands into it. I love just helping people, which is a major thing with all the jobs I held. Got you.
So I know you were in, I think, Walgreens for a long time, right?
13 years.
13 years. So do you want to talk a little bit about what you learned in that job and how you progressed within that, and that kind of led you to where you are today?
So with Walgreens, it was retail pharmacy. They have multiple departments within the company. It's SVZ, which is service clerk, front cashier.
Okay.
Cosmetics, beauty advisor, or back then it was they promote you up to department lead. Photo, I was in that.
Wow.
For photo technician up to head photo specialist, which was what I got at one point. Then it's the pharmacy, which I also worked in too.
Okay.
And then just the roles have changed. Because of me working at Walgreens, I started working in the pharmacy department, and I was able to learn more about the insurances.
Okay.
Filling prescriptions, actually being able to read a prescription, reading quick codes.
Oh, wow.
Processing prior authorizations, calling doctor's offices and verifying the prescriptions, asking for prescriptions. So it was a lot you learned, which is great, and that actually helped me where I'm at now.
Okay, perfect. So why don't we talk about that? What do you do as of today?
As of today, I'm an intake care manager for mental health outpatient.
Okay, so what does that mean?
So for those that need that extra help,
Okay.
Anxiety, depression, MDD, which is like a major depressive disorder.
Okay.
And they just hit a brick wall, and you need to speak to somebody. You would make an appointment with where I work at, and then I'm the first person you actually talk to on your appointment. What I do is I process all the paperwork. I do a questionnaire, basically getting a little bit of your background.
Okay.
I get your primary care physician, your pharmacy, emergency contact. I find out if there's any courts that I need, like court information, because that's also important with certain people and especially children.
Gotcha.
I do like a scoring sheet that just shows where you're at with your mood.
Okay.
And then I do releases and consents, because of course with any medical profession or anywhere that you work medically, you have to disclose who you can and cannot speak to, HIPAA. So then after that, what I do is I contact our assessment specialist, give her a breakdown of, who I'm speaking to, if it's one of those who are unfortunately feeling like they just can't take it no more. I really emphasize, like, listen, this is what's going on. SI intent was suicide intent, self-harm, and I try to get them right over. Background, what I do is that's when I dig in, get their doctor's appointments.
Okay.
I then do their scoring, and I send that all to the assessment specialist.
Okay.
And then from there, I build their charts on the computer.
Gotcha.
Now what I also do is, like, our front desk staff, they do multiple things. Answer phones, run insurances, they'll send in prior authorizations, but I also kick in and I help do that. I'll answer the phones, I'll schedule appointments. A lot of times I'll send out the prior authorizations because I have that pharmacy background. I'm able to just understand, and I just send it right over.
Gotcha, that makes sense. So I think biggest question for me is, when are people coming to you? Like, when are the people coming to your facility? Like when they're depressed, or
when
like,
they're depressed? So we get people that are depressed, have anxiety, just need somebody overall to talk to. We get a lot of people that are court stipulated.
Okay.
A lot of times with drug and alcohol, they're dual diagnosed.
Oh,
so
okay.
we also take that into. We get a lot of children because of the Department of Human Services.
Gotcha.
That are stipulated, so we get a lot of that.
So, I mean, how did you end up in this field, other than your pharmacy work in Walgreens and things of that nature?
I was actually offered the opportunity from a friend.
Okay.
And I just took it. I wanted to change. I wanted to change for a long time. I always wanted to work in medicine. That was always my goal. And I was like, okay, this will give me more of a background.
Right.
So let me just try it. And I tried it and I loved it. I didn't think I would like it so much, but I do.
Okay, that's a great transition to the next question. What do you like about it?
I love helping people.
Okay.
I love being able to say, this is what I can do for you. I love feeling like I've accomplished something, and that's what I feel like I do now, is what I do. I love it.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there's at least some dislikes, right? What would that be?
Not being able to really help.
Okay.
Per se, if you have somebody that's really urgent and you're backlogged with appointments, that kind of disappoints me.
That sounds like a personal.
Yeah, it's more personal for me.
Okay.
I wish we could take on third-party insurances. I think that would be awesome. That would be more of a bigger help.
Okay.
Because there's not so many places to take third-party. Third-party would be like Keystone East, Aetna, that type. I just wanted to
Gotcha. That makes sense. So if you were to give advice to someone who is looking into getting into this type of role, what kind of advice would you give them?
Really take a look at yourself. See if you can handle it mentally.
Okay.
Because of what you hear, it can mentally beat you down. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there are times that if certain things beat me down where I'm just worn out mentally. So if you can't handle it, definitely stay away.
Gotcha.
Because it'll just constantly beat you down. If you don't like people, stay away. Because you're going to work with very vulnerable people. If you like school and you find yourself being very helpful, definitely.
Gotcha. So what is your future goal? What do you want to do in this field?
I want to go back to school.
Okay.
Honestly, I've been looking into ways of making that happen. It's really just money. It takes a lot of money to go back to school.
I love that you said that, because that's one of the things I always preach, because people, always think, oh, just go to school, take out loans. But, as a person who has been a long time student,
Yes.
it adds up very quickly. So,
and especially if you're an adult where you're not a dependent, we're living on your own.
Right.
You have mortgage, loans, car payments.
Right.
It's too much.
Right. So if you were able to go to school, go back to school, what would you want to get into?
I ultimately want to go into nursing.
Nursing. Okay,
Yes.
That's awesome. That makes
Yes.
sense. So, is there anything else you want to add on to for our viewers? Any advice?
Really, just focus on your education. For those that had to leave school, or those that just had to leave, go back. It's worth it. Continue your education. For those that are thinking about becoming a social worker or a therapist or a psychiatrist, we need more diversity.
Gotcha.
We don't have enough diversity, and that's a big problem. So if you're thinking of getting into the field, it's worth it, and we definitely need it.
Gotcha.
Because we don't have enough.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time today. That's all the questions I have. I'm sure you love getting grilled in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you are interested in a specific career path or know someone who'd like to be interviewed, please email us at askalutely@gmail.com. That's basically absolutely without the BS.